The Republican Party is no longer conservative. It has shifted its loyalty from the principles that once gave it meaning to a man whose only focus is himself. Whether it was a political roast or a kind of public reckoning, Congressman Adam Kinzinger unleashed a harsh, unfiltered critique of Donald Trump live on television. No script, no filter, just sharp words. Kinzinger released years of frustration in a forceful speech, leaving Trump trying to recover. Speaking as someone with a military background, Kinzinger said he has always respected strong leadership, and Trump, in his view, is the opposite, a whiny, weak, small man who lives in fear. Trump once again found himself in the headlines, not for defending democracy or showing courage, but because Kinzinger publicly dismantled him on live TV. Kinzinger, a former Republican congressman and now an outspoken Trump critic, went all in. The man who turned the phrase "covfefe" into a part of political history was hit with unrelenting criticism. Trump, Kinzinger said, is a weak man pretending to be strong, a small man pretending to be big, a man without faith pretending to be righteous, and someone who constantly acts like a victim while harming others. With the tone of a prosecutor and the energy of someone holding back for too long, Kinzinger delivered remarks that even some of Trump's supporters couldn't ignore. It started when Trump, in his usual style, posted online, again full of conspiracy theories, personal insults, and his familiar blend of self-pity and arrogance. Kinzinger mocked the situation, saying the atmosphere around Trump is like a bad smell. He joked that it's like blending armpits, ketchup, and a boat with makeup into a cologne. That's how bad it is. He expressed surprise that people were only now recognizing this. But more importantly, he emphasized Trump's weakness. Kinzinger noted that Trump had his allies respond to the criticism instead of addressing it himself. Kinzinger slammed Trump's constant complaints, his hunger for power, and his refusal to take responsibility. He went further, pointing out Trump's failures as a leader, his tendency to blame others, and his habit of making everything about himself. He also challenged Trump's image as a tough leader, reminding viewers that Trump stayed at the White House during the January 6th riot instead of stepping in. According to Kinzinger, Trump avoids real confrontation because he's afraid. He compared Trump to a 6-year-old still seeking his father's approval. He accused Trump of picking symbolic fights, like with Canada, because he knows they won't lead to real conflict but still make him seem tough. Kinzinger also pointed out the contradiction in Trump criticizing a trade deal he himself had negotiated and once praised as the best ever. He argued that this behavior goes against the American spirit. The country was founded on rejecting exactly this kind of leadership. Kinzinger said there's still a strong desire among Americans to take back power from political elites, and that movement may grow in the coming months. The response to Kinzinger's remarks was immediate. It wasn't just criticism, it was a deep takedown that grabbed attention, sparked debate, and likely struck a nerve with Trump, who is known to react strongly to public criticism. In truth, Trump's ability to handle being called out is often as weak as a soggy paper towel. Bragging that he is the greatest thing to happen to America since the invention of fried food, the strongest and the brightest, Trump lashed out when someone on TV dared to tell the truth about him. Kinzinger stepped up with harsh criticism, and the next time Trump posted in all capital letters, he was clearly furious. To be fair, mocking Trump isn't new to Kinzinger. It's essentially what he does full-time now. But this particular criticism was different. It was so sharply delivered that it made you pause, put your phone down, and quietly applaud. Kinzinger said, "Donald Trump was the worst president the United States has ever had. He was a liar, a charlatan, and a man with a more fragile ego than anyone I've ever met. The irony is that he walks around acting like a tough guy, but he gets more offended, hurt, and sad than anyone I know." He added, "I also want to say that I hope that was the moment America hit bottom in its slide toward authoritarianism, and the moment we woke up. I hope he's proud of what I've done. I'm confident he will be, because unless this country really goes off the rails, we'll look back and say, wow, that was the moment we flew too close to the sun. We can't let that happen again. That's my hope and prayer, because if not, we're in real trouble." He went after Trump's greatest hits, the constant portrayal of himself as a victim, the unwavering devotion to golf while pretending to care about the country, and his ability to use any event as a chance to talk about himself. Any investigation becomes a witch hunt in Trump's eyes, whether it's about sensitive documents or a wrong order at McDonald's. His responses seem automatic, wired to avoid responsibility. Kinzinger also highlighted Trump's leadership style, yelling praise about himself while dodging accountability. He's always described as strong, powerful, and brilliant, yet somehow always the victim. The kind of person who trips over his own feet and blames the FBI, immigration, or wind farms. He surrounded himself with people who would reflect his ego back to him. A narcissist seeks that out, people who affirm him and boost his image. That became the far right. At first, they manipulated Trump. Now he controls them. Kinzinger believes Trump is driven purely by self-interest, desperate to avoid being seen as a loser, and lacking any empathy for others. Trump's most devoted supporters would defend him no matter what, as though their lives depended on it. They view him as a business genius, even though his casino strategy seemed designed to drain people's wallets, and yet he still managed to bankrupt it. Unless you're Trump, even your house files for Chapter 11, yet he's somehow seen as a financial expert. It's like calling someone who burns water a great cook. Adam Kinzinger, a former Republican congressman, didn't hold back in criticizing Trump's carefully crafted image. He said Trump's entire persona is built on the illusion of strength, a tough exterior that collapses under even mild criticism. He spends his days complaining on social media about life being unfair, while trying to appear as a fearless leader. But according to Kinzinger, Trump is as tough as a damp paper towel. Still, his supporters see him as a fighter. At this point, it's like Olympic-level mental gymnastics, and the MAGA crowd would win gold in cognitive dissonance. Trump has launched personal attacks and promised retribution against critics like Kinzinger. Asked about the many death threats he's received, Kinzinger said he isn't afraid of Trump. "I've been to war," he said. "Trump is a small, weak man who is terrified of strong people. I won't be intimidated. I didn't break the law. I just told the truth to the American people. If you want to come after me, you'll have to make something up. And if you do, I'll become an even bigger thorn in your side." The American people may have elected Trump, but they still want law and justice to work properly. Then there's Trump's infamous line, "I hire the best people." These best people often end up fired as soon as they stop flattering him, land in jail, or eventually turn on him. His hiring process seems to have only two criteria: absolute loyalty and a willingness to risk criminal charges on his behalf. If someone questions him, or worse, refuses to break the law, they're out.